Iranian technicians are developing skills to operate complex
After years of exploration, the British finally struck oil in modern-day Iran in 1908. The following year, the Anglo-Persian Oil Company was established. Public shares in the company sold out in half an hour, securing Britain a guaranteed source of oil from the Middle East. In the early 20th century, industry was shifting from reliance on coal to oil fuel. Before this, industrial nations largely relied on domestic coal reserves. They now had to increasingly look to foreign oil sources. In 1912, the Turkish Petroleum Company was founded in Turkish-occupied Iraq, restricting access to the market to a limited group of British, German and Turkish oil companies. Control of and access to Middle East oil reserves was a major factor in the mounting tensions behind the First World War, with Germany challenging British interests in Iraq. After the war, the balance of Middle East power shifted in favour of the United States, who had ensured Allied victory. By 1920, the US provided over 60% of the world's oil supply. Outside of the US, however, the British either owned, controlled or financed all known oil fields. However, the British were persuaded it would be better to join forces with American oil companies than exacerbate tensions between the two powers. Driven by the discovery of oil in Iraq, the 1928 Red Line Agreement between Britain, France and America officially made the TPC, now the Iraqi Petroleum Company, a cartel. In 1929, the US set up the Bahrain Petroleum Corporation and in 1933 bought drilling rights from Saudi Arabia. The discovery of oil there in 1938 was described as the single greatest prize in all history. That year also saw oil discovered in Kuwait. Economic competition, especially the rise of German imperialism, led to the Second World War. By now, oil was vital to military operations and became central to the post-war economic boom. After Iran's democratic government nationalised British oil interests, Britain and the CIA helped engineer a coup in 1953 which created a dictatorship. In 1973, OPEC, an oil production cartel including Iran, Iraq and Saudi Arabia, flexed its muscles. It announced an oil embargo in response to the Arab-Israeli war and sparked a financial crisis. In response, in 1975, the US assessed the feasibility of the use of US military force to occupy foreign oil fields in exigency. The 1979 Iranian Revolution was a further blow to US oil interests, and with the invasion of Kuwait in 1990, Iraq, once a Western ally, gained access to 20% of the world's known oil supplies. This was a major motivation behind the First Gulf War. Despite the emergence of significant oil fields outside of the Middle East, by the turn of the 21st century, most known reserves lay in the region. By then, the US had built up a massive military presence and led an alliance of states including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey and the UAE. Although some claim that the 2003 Iraq War was about democracy, many saw it as a continuation of a Western foreign policy based on strategic control of oil in the Middle East. Some saw the Arab Spring of 2011 as a major threat to foreign control of oil, by raising the possibility that its production would come under democratic control.